Greetings comrades, my name is Giganatools, and this video is a reminder about how even just one individual can have a huge impact upon a much larger population of people. What do I mean by that? Well, it all relates to one of my friends who helps. I think he's an administrator of the group, but he helps run he helps run a Facebook group, and that group has almost 100,000 members in it. Now, that friend and myself, both of us, we're about the same age. So I'm going to university, he's going to university. It's been quite a busy time for both of us with our assessments and everything. Because of that, he had to take some time off to work on his assessments. And I think the last time he really did anything major was back in April. Okay, so a few months ago. And he decided to come back to the group just to see how well the other admins and mods were doing in leading the group. Everything seemed fine. And then he went onto the member list. And he found, just scrolling and scrolling, he found hundreds of Eastern Lightning cultists. For those of you that don't remember, or maybe don't know yet, because you haven't seen my videos about it, the Eastern Lightning cult is a Chinese-based cult where they believe that Jesus has returned as a middle-aged woman who married a man that was the embodiment of the Holy Spirit. They believe that it's time for a global revolution so that she can establish her kingdom on earth. And they believe a lot of other rubbish, relying on a lot of Chinese cult practices and stuff. But this cult is a little bit dangerous in China because they're known to. Well, there was a famous incident back in 2014, or infamous incident, where they killed a woman in a McDonald's for refusing to hand over her phone number to them. And what my other friend, who runs the anti-Eastern Lightning cult page, has told me, he says that there's also a lot of reports about bodies being found of missing people who went to join the cult or tried to leave the cult. So it's quite a dark cult. Fortunately, most of the people that are dealt with online are not those killers. They're would the social media guy would be part of the social media division of the cult. They run thousands of bots all over Facebook, and what they like to do is they'll try and get their bots to enter a group, and then they'll invite hundreds, just hundreds of all of the other bots, and then they'll try and flood the group with all of their propaganda, telling people to click on the links to go to their website to watch their videos and buy their books and stuff like that. And I cannot emphasize enough that they have thousands of bots out there. My friend, from what he told me, not quite recently, when he had to dedicate several hours in one day just in trying to clear out all the bots that had built up in the few months that he had gone. And by the time he was done, he estimated there was somewhere between 400 to 500 bots that he had to remove and block from the group. Fortunately, most of them hadn't posted anything yet, but he showed me something interesting as he was gathering this information to send off to my friend who runs the anti-Eastern Lightning cult page, because he's the guy that he has a huge database of cultists, and if you find one, you're meant to tell him, and then he'll add it to it. I think at this point he has 5,500 cultists or 5,600. He has a lot of names on that database. Anyway, what my friend was showing me as he was gathering data was that a lot of these cultists are not very creative when it comes to their names. Some of them will try and misspell words, such as Emily, but with two L's, or after the L, there's meant to be a Y. But some cultists will have an E, some will have two E's. It's like they're trying to transliterate names. Some of them will have the exact same profile image, and he showed me one instance of a woman. I think it was a picture that had the profile picture was of a woman with like a straw hat and sunglasses, and there were four bot accounts with that same profile image. Some of the bots did have the same name. Some of them had just slightly different ways of spelling it, but he noticed that they all were grouped in the members list. The way they were grouped meant that usually one bot tried to join, or maybe one real account, and then they tried to invite as many bots as possible after they entered the group. So he firstly had to change my friend had to change the settings of the group to stop that from happening again. But he really pressed me to try and make a video warning people about just how many bots can really flood a group if you're not careful in moderating or administrating a group properly. So for all the admins and administrators and moderators out there of Facebook groups or maybe other social media groups that may have this problem, please be stricter with your membership requests, because especially if a member can invite their friends without them needing approval, it is very easy for either one bot or one real account of theirs to enter a group, and then once they're inside, they then invite hundreds of bots to come in and basically flood the group with all their propaganda. And because my friend is in a lot of Catholic groups, there's a lot of contradictions and heresies that these cultists end up supporting. So it's even more important to get that content out of groups and prevent people from seeing it. Not because it's secretly the truth, but because a lot of people in my group aren't there to preach information and teach others. They're there to learn. So it's important to get that information out of the group so they aren't misled and accidentally go and support the cult by buying one of their books. By the way, for anyone who doesn't think they're bad enough yet, they also wrote their own version of the Bible, because the current Bible that we've all had for the last 2,000 years or 1,700 years, apparently it's outdated. So somehow the ramblings of a middle-aged Chinese woman are superior to, I can't remember how many authors wrote the Bible, but dozens of divinely inspired authors who, despite being different individuals, could all write a coherent narrative together when inspired by the same God. It's a bit of a weird trait to make by going to follow the cult, but again, a lot of people, and it's a scarily high amount, a lot of people don't really know the difference between legitimate Catholic teaching or other Christians out there. They don't know legitimate Christian teaching and what this cult believes. It's especially problematic because this cult spends a lot of time making very charismatic posts with very colorful pieces of art and stuff. So don't fall for it. Make sure that if you see their content, you report it to the admins and moderators. And if you are one of the moderators or administrators, remove it. Remove that content. Don't let people fall for it. Also, check your members lists. Make sure none of them have been inviting. Make sure no cultists have infiltrated the group and have been inviting dozens or even hundreds of their cult members. As I said, it took my friend several hours to find anywhere between 400 to 500 cultists since March or April. That's a lot of time he had to spend for such a long period of time that they had been secretly infiltrating for. So if you're in a position of responsibility in your groups, make sure you exercise that responsibility wisely. Well, exercise the authority that comes with it wisely. Otherwise, that's it pretty much for this video. Have a good weekend, all of you. God bless you all. See you in the next video, comrades. Until then.